I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Why? Say it!
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Good answer. Good answer.
Hello and welcome to the War Room. We've got Bob Quinn and I'm joined by Trent Ging. And if you haven't heard, you must not have social media. Trent, give us the news of the day.
No Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is officially out for this game, so the keys to the offense get turned over to Mason Rudolph. And as David Korb would like to say, A-plus draft pick. Will Howard will be the backup. So no Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be interesting to see how that changes things for the Steelers in the offense.
Yeah, it's kind of a big blow because he's kind of the Bears' kryptonite, and we have only won once in 100 years in Chicago. Now, that being said, I do think today's going to be a little bit different. I don't think this is the traditional hit 'em hard Bears defense. I think as we get into this, we're going to see that the offense can be had a little bit. I still like our chances with Mason. I am not a Mason truther. I would rather have Will Howard or Aaron Rodgers in the game. But that being said, Mason's what we got, and I think he's good enough to beat this team.
Yeah, I think so too. It's going to be interesting to see if they change anything game plan wise versus what they do, because Mason does like to throw the ball downfield, which is something that Aaron's not been doing nearly as often. So I don't know. Maybe we'll start seeing some deep shots.
I put in a parlay this morning with Kenneth Gainwell with 2.5 receptions with Mason in the game. I'm feeling really good about that. But I'm a little scared about my Darnell Washington getting 20 yards, although, as Trent pointed out in prep, Darnell did get over 20 yards with Mason, but it was with a hellacious run. So throw him the ball 2 or 3 times. He does that. We'll be okay.
The parlays may survive, Bob. The parlays may survive.
They may survive. I still think the Steelers win, by the way, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
So we want to jump into some film here.
Let's get into the film. So we're going to start off with some player highlight stuff right now. We're going to get into DK Metcalf. That's going to be against the Cincinnati Bengals, the second go-around. So I kind of want to highlight some of the things we've seen, because I've seen a lot on social media about people talking about what DK Metcalf has or hasn't done. So this is a 13 personnel where he's going to come across the middle on a crossing route. This is part of the thing that we need to start doing a little bit more often with DK, because when we get him in motion and get him out in space and let him run free, he's had a lot of success, and it's harder to double team him. Now, you can see they're in a zone where the Bengals are trying to cover him, and basically you got a linebacker on DK Metcalf. That's a mismatch all day long. The safeties cannot double that. They can crash down if they want to, but when you're in a zone, they've also got to be worried about guys going up over the top. You can see kind of how the different levels of this work out too. You can see on the still shot even right here, Pat Freiermuth in the top right corner. He's running that kind of deep, like I call it a flag route or a 9 route, whatever you want to call it. Jonnu Smith working behind DK Metcalf, still occupying the top safety. So you've got a couple of guys occupying some of the safeties that allows DK Metcalf to get free on this one. This is an easy pitch and catch. It's off play action. It's an easy throw for Aaron to make, and a really nice way to kind of get DK involved in the offense. I want to see more of this as we continue to go through and progress through the season, because you paid $30 million to the guy. Like, come on, get him more involved in the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find it interesting. It almost looks like 2 Bengals are going with Pat on that on that flag pattern. And then this is what we want to see more of, and Aaron did a good job with that little rollout bootleg. And even though he got immediate pressure, here's DK flashing across. And I'm sorry, no linebacker and virtually no corner who's trailing is going to catch up with DK. So I don't know if we'll see this particular play today, because even at 41 years old and not as mobile as he used to be, he's still 100 times more mobile than Mason Rudolph. I don't know if we're going to see Mason doing blind bootlegs. That may not go well for us.
Yeah. I mean, you can see even though like even when you run through that play, just the traffic that gets created by these crossing routes. I mean, it's such an easy way to slip DK through to get him some. This is a play you should run early in the game. I just think that's just kind of the way it goes. So the second play here, we're in our jumbo package. You got DK isolated at the top. He runs an out and up, clearly smokes the corner. He sells it. The safety could not get back there. Rewind that back for a second, Bob, if you would.
I actually have the other angle.
Okay. So this angle here shows what Aaron Rodgers is kind of seeing. There is no pressure. That is clean as a pocket gets, and he's looking right at DK Metcalf and just does not let that ball go. Rewind that all the way back to the first look there for a second.
Yep.
Because you'll see this is the finish of the crossing route. You'll see DK at the very top. Watch how he sells the out route and gets the corner to bite because the corner's got outside leverage. And he turns him around right here. He starts that out. You see the hips of the corner starting to turn, and DK breaks straight up field. As soon as he got the hips to turn, that guy's gone. And
That's
here,
touchdown.
Aaron's looking at it. He sees it. DK's past his man, and you see how far the safety is. He's still at the hash. There is no way he's getting over to cover that. That is an absolute touchdown. That is just a play where Aaron holds the ball. The pressure was not there. It's a perfectly clean pocket. There is no reason you don't take that shot to your number one receiver, especially in a very, very rare one-on-one situation for DK Metcalf. So instead, he kind of lets the pressure get there, and he tries to force the ball to Darnell Washington. It's virtually uncatchable.
Yeah, you can see that the force really, really well here on this other angle.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is clean as a pocket's going to get in the NFL. I'm sorry. That was such a missed opportunity, and it's when people talk about what's going wrong with DK Metcalf, well, that's one of them. Is Aaron's just, and I don't know, Bob. I'd be interested to get your opinion on this. Do you think that is he doesn't trust his arm anymore at his age? Do you think that maybe Aaron's just not comfortable right now between he and DK? Because we've seen some timing stuff that's been off, and actually this next play is going to show the timing part. But like, how do you feel? Like, what do you think's creating that idea to hold the ball?
I do think there is some of that because we have seen some deep shots where he underthrew them a little bit, and if he floats that or underthrows it a little bit, the safety can get there. And one thing about Aaron Rodgers for his entire career is he is risk averse. He's always been risk averse. He doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. He will take shots, but if he doesn't have the confidence that I can zoom and fit this ball in there, and I'm almost wondering is because DK broke so deep and fast that he was like, oh, do I want to pull the trigger? If this is a duck, the safety's going to get home. There was a lot of wind last week too, so I wonder if that may have played a factor as well.
Maybe. I just thought it was interesting because you haven't seen many one-on-one opportunities for DK, and you get one right there. You feel like Aaron feels confident enough to take a shot, and he didn't on that situation. So it was a strange play. So
yeah, and I think Adam has a good point here. Not supposed to be windy today in Chicago. Last time I checked the weather, it's supposed to be, which for Chicago is a really good thing. It's supposed to be under 10 miles an hour wind, which is about as good as you're going to get. There are games in Chicago where the wind wreaks havoc. 25, 30, but it makes Buffalo look like, a dome in Soldier Field. So
yes.
Here's one, though, where maybe we can put some blame on DK, though, too.
I actually think this one was on DK. So in this one, you have a trips look here at the top of the screen. DK's the inside receiver. He gets leverage, and he clearly beats his guy. He slows up a little bit on this route. I don't know if he thought maybe he was just the clear out route. He wasn't going to get the ball. You saw some contact between he and the safety on this play here. So I don't know if the contact. Either way, DK does not run through this play. And Aaron was clearly frustrated after this one because he sees DK, gets the ball out there. I thought it was a perfect throw. If DK runs that thing through, that is a perfect throw, and I think that's a pretty easy completion for a guy that's your number one wide receiver. So that right there, that one was tough for me. So this one here.
Yes. Hold on. Wait a minute. I skipped ahead.
They were going to. Yeah.
There we go.
I just think, I don't know, the safety was the one kind of coming down. You can see him in one-on-one coverage. I mean, I don't know what DK's looking at right there. He makes the contact. He didn't necessarily need to make the contact, but he clearly has him beat.
I wonder if he had the other guy beat going down the field in the other direction, and Aaron didn't pull the trigger. I wonder if he thought it doesn't matter. He's not going to throw it to me anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of a connection issue right now between DK and Aaron, and it's weird. Maybe it's the drops early in the season. You had pointed that out a number of different times where DK was dropping the ball a lot, but in this one, Aaron clearly was trying to give him a chance, and he didn't run through. So that was kind of a messy one. So I don't know.
He channeled his inner George Pickens.
He did. All right. Now this right here, number one, I wanted to show this because I've gotten a handful of questions about what a mesh concept is. So I want to show on film what a mesh concept looks like, except don't watch all of this because this is not the best mesh concept. But if you watch Pat Freiermuth comes down to the bottom of the screen, spread out wide, you've got DK Metcalf at the bottom of the screen in the slot, or in the top, and then top in the slot, and you've got Jonnu Smith in the bottom. If you watch what Jonnu Smith does from the bottom of the screen, he's going to come through and he's going to try to get a natural pick in this play. You can even see him kind of slowing down and setting up for a pick as DK Metcalf is running underneath of that. Now, this play is intended to go to DK Metcalf. Here's the problem. Pittsburgh doing what Pittsburgh does. We had two tight ends on the field. Pat Freiermuth, if you notice right here, is right behind Jonnu Smith. You've got Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and DK Metcalf all within 5 yards of each other. Had you had a Calvin Austin on the field instead of Pat Freiermuth on this play, you could have had him running straight up field. So rewind this back for just a moment, Bob, and I want to show kind of what I would be doing in this concept. So if you watch Freiermuth's the guy who's coming in motion, and watch his route on this part now. If this is Calvin Austin and you run straight up field, the back safety, who's the one on the bottom of the screen or at the top of the screen, he's the one who crashes down. You see how hard he crashed down? Mm-hmm. He's able to do that because Pat Freiermuth comes and stops in that route, right in the same area. If you have a guy like Calvin Austin run straight down that seam,
they got to go with him.
That safety is not able to crash that hard on that route. Now, credit the safety for reading that play the way that he did and crashing hard on DK Metcalf because it took away the primary receiver there. But Calvin Austin would have cleared out, and either you crash hard on the mesh route or Calvin Austin has a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can kind of see it with Aaron, like right here. You know,
he's looking.
I almost wonder if DK was supposed to go over the top, and Jonnu. I also wonder if Pat Freiermuth ran the wrong route because it's kind of a stupid play design to have you mesh the guy who's supposed to clear just sit down in the middle of the zone.
I thought that too, actually, watching this. I thought Pat ran the wrong route on this, but I think the mesh route with DK and Jonnu, it was correct. Typically, you want the guy coming underneath the natural pick because you're making that defender to go over the top. But the safety battle crashes so hard on this play that if it wasn't Pat Freiermuth standing in the middle of the field right there and Calvin Austin's running up the seam, you probably have a good shot at getting a touchdown to Calvin Austin there. Yeah. That's why the mesh concept works so well, especially in like the West Coast systems, because they run 11 personnel, not 12 personnel, and try this thing. I think we need to make that change. I think you have to get another wide receiver out there. So I've also got some questions. This is actually, I don't know if Big Pun's on here right now, but Pun, this one's for you, buddy, because you talked about Derrick Harmon, asking if we feel like Derrick Harmon has regressed. And I talked a lot about how I don't think that Derrick Harmon is regressing by any means. I think that he's just, right now, he's a little behind Y.A. Black, who's had a couple more games. So I want to highlight this. Bengals are in 11 personnel. You got PQ coming on a blitz. Derrick Harmon does a really good job of knifing through. It's a run blitz package.
You can really see it really good at
right here. Right here's the angle that you look at. So watch how he knifes through the guy trying to crash down on him. So you can see that the guy's crashing, and he does a great job of knifing through this. He doesn't finish the play, but he clearly makes Chase Brown cut back against the grain. Because if you look on the right side, look where Peyton Wilson is. And look where I think that's another tight end on the other side there on the outside of the screen. They're trying to open that lane, and it was open. Derrick Harmon blew this play up. He makes the running back cut back. You've got Brandon Eccles and Jack Sawyer back there. Eccles does a good job of staying inside of his assignments and not coming down with the play and keeping the backside contained on this, and it makes it a minimal game. So I thought that was a great showing of something that doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, but Derrick Harmon absolutely affected that play pretty much. On this one, you'll see that the Bengals are coming out in an offset eye. You've got Harmon in that 4-eye technique. This is just a way of showing how he's using leverage. They talked about his long arms and his power in the run game coming out of college. You see it on tape right here. He just one arms. This is a Cam Hayward special right here. So you can tell the young guys are paying attention to the veteran. He one arms, gets the left arm out there, holds off the tackle from coming in and making that reach block. And he just works his way down the line of scrimmage and limits this to a 4-yard gain because it could have been more. It could have been a much larger run in this scenario, but I thought he did a great job of getting that arm engaged early, holding off the tackle so the tackle could not get on the inside of him, and he just works down the line to make a play. So I thought that was absolutely a great thing from him. So here he's going to be in the 4-eye technique. If you don't know what a 4-eye technique is, this is actually when a guy is just playing right off the inside shoulder of the tackle, and you can see that's where he's aligned in this look. He tries his club move, so he doesn't get enough of the guard on this, but you can see he's trying the club move. You can see where he's got some pass rush upside. TJ creates pressure, and he comes off of the guard even though he started on the inside. Watch him try to chase down Flacco in this scenario. So he's still creating pressure. Again, this is a scenario where does he finish the play? No. Does it show up on the stat sheet? No. But can you see that he's building a package? Because this was the area where they thought he has pass rush upside, but he's not a great pass rusher yet. Keanu Benton does the club swim, which works for him quite a lot. Right there, you can see that he doesn't quite get enough power on the guard with that club move to really move the guard the way he wanted to, but he sticks with the play to create pressure. I think the pass rush is coming for Derrick Harmon. So I wanted to highlight him just because Pun had questions about him regressing. I just think there's some things that aren't quite showing up on the stat sheet, but you can definitely see that this kid is playing pretty well. He's creating some things, especially in the run game. He's making some tackles out there. I've seen him stand up against double teams pretty well. I don't think there's an area of his game that I would say he's doing badly right now. So,
yeah, the one thing I would also say too is I like that they're starting to play him on TJ's side, because if you're going to double and chip TJ and leave him one-on-one with the guard, I think he is going to get that pressure up the middle if he's one-on-one. And I think we saw where TJ got insta pressure is the Bengals kind of were like, oh shit, we have got to account for him, which means we can't chip TJ. We got to leave him on an island. That could be a big key in the second half of the season for TJ to go out and have 2 or 3 big games.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to switch to the Bears. We're going to talk about the Bears offense. I'll be honest, the Bears defense is going to be hard for me to kind of pick plays out of because, half their defense is out today. But we're going to highlight some things that the Bears offense does well and how you could maybe attack this offense. So in this scenario right here, you're going to have the Bears coming out in an 11 personnel look. The Vikings are in their nickel defense. And right here, if you see, they bring the pressure straight up the middle. I think this is where Caleb Williams could be had. They're on a man look on the back end. Rewind back to that first clip real quick. So if you look at the alignment right here, you end up getting the pressure straight up the middle, and it ends up being a holding penalty on DeAndre Swift, to be honest with you. They kind of bring this like double mug look in the A gaps, and they keep their edges wide. And the reason they keep the edges wide is because, let's be honest, if you've watched Caleb Williams at all, the guy loves to play outside of the structure. He likes to scramble. He likes to create. It's what he does. But bringing the pressure up the middle and keeping the edges out wide kept his contain inside the pocket, and he still escaped, but only because of a holding penalty by DeAndre Swift. This is where I want to see PQ used in this game, is bring him straight up the middle. He's the best one of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL. Bring him straight up. Let Herbig and TJ set the edges on the outside, similar to like what you've pointed out in the past, Bob. We've done this with Lamar Jackson, where you just try to keep that contained inside and bring PQ right up the middle. I think that we could have a day with the Bears with that look. So as a result, this play here, this is how dangerous this offense can be. They're backed way up. So this actually had a huge fumble on the first play. They're at 2nd and 25. The Vikings are in a cover 2 zone. Odunze comes on a real deep in route. This is the fumble right before.
We may only have the fumble here.
That's
I
okay.
thought you were doing the fumble.
No, there was a huge fumble and it set up a play, but they go into a 2nd and 25 play right after this fumble, which was ridiculous because like it's just a clear, easy handoff, and then the Viking player kicked the ball like 15 yards backwards. But I mean, the danger of Caleb Williams in the offense was that next play, they're backed up at 2nd and 25. And the Vikings try to run a zone, which is why I personally would be running a lot of man in this game. I would use the same blueprint, honestly, that we used against Cincinnati, because Odunze comes on a deep in route, and Caleb Williams has a very, very live arm. He snapped one off right on that in route that got there before Harrison Smith could get to the play. And I think, Harrison Smith, for his age, you can say whatever you want, but he's an all-pro, former all-pro safety. Like, he reads the field very, very well. And for Caleb to snap that off before he could get there at 23 yards downfield, he's got a live arm. So you have to be careful with Caleb at the same time. Don't let him sit in zone and pick you apart, because he was very, very, very much more comfortable in his zone than he was in man. So the next play here, the Bears are in 12 personnel. It shows exactly why it's so important to keep Caleb in the tackle box. So he takes forever. Then he extends the play and ends up missing, but he could have hit this for a really, really big play. You see Swift. Watch Swift break to the out route right here. And this is just backyard football. This was not play design. But Caleb held the ball forever. He scrambles. Swift, being a veteran, he breaks outside. Caleb just overthrows this ball, but I mean, he overthrows it. He's already 15 yards downfield, and he probably had another 5. And you got a one-on-one with a corner. I think was the guy back deep there. Which
and we've got another angle, I think, where you can really see the Swift adjust here.
Yes, and Caleb. I mean, watch Caleb take his time in the pocket, and then he is not afraid to just hold it. He scrambles. Here's where his creativity comes, and he just misses this throw. Swift adjusts. He was going to be open. That could have been another 20-yard game for them. I mean, they're big play, very big play offense. So now we're going to highlight some of the run game here, because it's something they've done very, very well. The Bears are in 12. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, one thing I would do want to interject about Caleb Williams, if you watch him, and I make a point to try to go back and watch a few games. If it's the hard throw, if it's the impossible throw, if it's the spectacular throw, he makes those.
He does.
It's the routine throws that he screws up on.
Yep, he does. He does not like. So the Ben Johnson offense. If you watch the Lions in his time there, it is very timing oriented. It is hit your spot, get the ball out of your hands, hit the receiver in stride, and everything is flowing by a pattern. The problem with Caleb Williams is that's not his style. So they're kind of marrying these two things together, where he is starting to try to give Caleb some creativity within the offense. But Caleb has actually started to get better, or has gotten better to hit guys in stride, in timing. That's why this offense has taken off quite a lot over the last, 5 weeks. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. So they're not playing a lot of good teams, but their offense has definitely been hitting its stride.
Yeah, this is the dangerous part to me.
This is the dangerous part. So Bears are in 12 personnel. They're going to run a counter to the strong side. Komet's going to be coming in motion, and watch him kind of crack back to help seal this edge coming downhill right here. And DeAndre Swift is a strong, fast, powerful back. So you can see him work around this, and then he just continues upfield. You can see him put his foot in the dirt, and he goes upfield. He's shifty. He's quick. He's more powerful than I think a lot of people give him credit for. This shows how Cole Kmet and the way this offense, they crash that line down. They slant down to the right on the line, and watch Kmet back side right here. to seal the edge. The whole defense goes with the offensive line. They all think this is going to the right, and they end up bringing it back to the strong side. And then downfield, I mean, look at that. Loveland's got a nice block downfield. You've got a Dunze working down toward to get to the safety. And I mean, this is just a big run. This is an offense. Their run game can pick up chunks. They can pick up chunks. I think this is the entire key to the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Chicago Bears. You have to shut down this run game. DeAndre Swift can get going. He can get hot. He can dice you up. He's had a really nice season, I think, for the Bears. And Monangai is as the backup. I mean, when Swift was out, he played extremely well. Mm-hmm. So you've got two very capable backs inside that offense. Ben Johnson knows that the run game opens up their passing game. We have to shut down the run game in order to get Caleb Williams in situations where he wants to make all the big plays. He wants to hold the ball and let the pass rush get him. It all starts right here with the run game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's talk about maybe a unit in Chicago that's not playing very well.
They are not playing well. So the thing they do better than anyone in the NFL is turnovers. They are very opportunistic as a team at taking away the ball. So the Vikings here come out in 11 personnel. The Bears are running a nickel cover 1. Jordan Addison runs a deep corner on the clear out to pull the safety of their top away from Justin Jefferson. So right there you see where you got Addison breaking downfield. He's occupying the safety. I wish I had a pointer in here because I'm pointing to my screen and no one can see it. And you got Justin Jefferson as the underneath man. Now, J.J. McCarthy, being a young quarterback, he's trying to hit the home run ball here to Jordan Addison. He underthrows it severely. It does not get there. It was a bad throw. It didn't come out of the hand very cleanly. Justin Jefferson's wide open underneath. Yeah, Justin Jefferson is wide open underneath. This was an easy pitch and catch that JJ should have just taken the easy throw. Look at Justin Jefferson. He's got a ton of cushion. They're running man-to-man with him, with Stevenson, and he is wide open. And the further he breaks across this, I mean, JJ just should have taken the easy throw, which was about a 10-yard shorter throw than what he ends up trying here. And I mean, you've got Justin Jefferson running all day open. And then instead he tries to force the ball to the big play downfield. But you can see here, the Bears in man coverage, I'm taking my bet on Tyreek Stevenson covering DK Metcalf all day long because Jalen Johnson is not in this game. He's not active. They're not going to have their top cover corner. They are missing one of the safeties. Mm-hmm. I love this look and the play design by Kevin O'Connell, but JJ makes the wrong read. I think Mason, being a veteran, would have made the right read on this play. This is something, again, crossing routes, deep ends, we've got to start utilizing them because teams are doing a lot of the same stuff. This is how Kevin O'Connell's getting Justin Jefferson open, who is the number 1, maybe number 2 receiver in the NFL. If he can get that guy open out of double coverage, we sure as hell can get DK Metcalf open.
And I mean, let's face it too. Addison is occupying 2 guys here. If you hit Justin Jefferson on that crossing route, Addison is a perfect position to shield off at least one of those guys, and he probably runs another 25 yards, and he maybe scores a touchdown.
Yep. He tried to go for the home run ball, and if he takes the underneath route, honestly, it probably ends up being a bigger play. You're right. Yeah,
because you can see right here, this guy. I mean, and I'm putting it on my screen. The man covering Jefferson, he's got him easily beat. He catches that ball on the run, turns it upfield. Addison's occupying 2. He's only got to beat 2 guys, and Addison theoretically is going to be able to take care of one of them. So you're one-on-one with Justin Jefferson, and that guy's 20 yards downfield. If he comes up to meet him, okay, great. That's probably even a better advantage. But even if he just sticks there, Jefferson might be able to cut back across the field and just beat him to the corner of the end zone. We've talked at length multiple times on the podcast of how little respect Trent and I have for J.J. McCarthy, but this was not a very good play.
It was not a good throw. Great design. Kevin O'Connell he got both guys open, honestly. It was a great play design. Poor choice by J.J., who, again, I think this is a young quarterback who he does have an arm. I mean, he has a nice arm, and he tries to do too much on this one. If he had a few years under his belt, this is probably like, I'm definitely taking this underneath route here. So on the second play here, the Bears came out showing a blitz on the second down. It was a cover one look where Brisker is actually up the line of scrimmage, especially with their linebackers out. I think you're going to see Brisker coming up a lot like this same look. So you see Brisker come up in this cover one look. They only end up rushing 4 guys without getting any pressure. They're just daring J.J. McCarthy to throw the football. The Vikings in 11 personnel watch the safety rotate over the top with Justin Jefferson, ends up leaving Jordan Addison on the post route wide open. This should have been a big play, and they just missed it. So this is the first play here.
Yeah,
The second play here. Watch Justin Jefferson brings the safety. Ends up being a play where on the other angle of this, you could have seen Jordan Addison. He breaks wide open. This might have been the third play.
Yeah, actually, I think this one got slipped in there by accident.
Yeah,
this is the
play right here. Yes, so because Jordan Addison's on the bottom of the screen. Watch him right there. He tries that little out and straight up the seam, and JJ just misses him right here. That should have been a huge gain right there. That's something that I thought was a big missed opportunity. But there you can tell, if they're going to shadow and double team DK Metcalf, we run a Roman Wilson on that play. That could end up being a big play. So I hope they kind of pay attention to that because Addison definitely cooked his guy.
Yeah, we only have the one angle on that one, but yeah, you can see.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Addison right there, he's out of the slot in the bottom of that screen. I mean, you can see, look at the safety immediately break over towards Justin Jefferson's side. This is exactly what you keep seeing with DK Metcalf. The only problem is we're not allowing the other guys time to get downfield. The Vikings do allow this, and you see Jordan Addison right there on the bottom of the screen. He just slips right behind everybody. And that's something Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin, quite honestly, could make this type of play. JJ, again, not being a great quarterback, he misses the throw. It's just off. It wasn't off by a lot, to be fair, to JJ McCarthy. But this should have been a monster play. I mean, you got Addison, 25? What is that, 25? Almost 30 yards downfield on this play?
Yeah.
That would have been a huge play right there if they were able to convert that. So just missed it.
Yeah, like you said, let the big dogs eat on this, and we know who the big dog is in Pittsburgh as far as catching the ball.
Yep. All right, so this one here, Kenneth Gainwell.
Especially if Mason is playing.
So this is a play where I highlight that they were going a lot of one-on-one with Justin Jefferson here. They had Tyreek Stevenson one-on-one in man coverage. It's another cover one look. Justin Jefferson runs an 8-yard in on this play. He sets up the corner, snaps the route off to create separation. That's something that I want to see a little bit better from DK. He isn't the most crisp route runner in the world where Justin Jefferson is.
You can really see the nice in break here from this.
Yes. Yes. So I really want to see Roman and look at him. See how he set up the corner? Like he's pushing the corner out and then snaps in hard on this break. That's how he's creating separation. That's what the elite wide receivers do. That's something I think DK Metcalf can continue to get better at. He's been doing a pretty good job of this. But if they're going to leave DK one-on-one, again, where's this look? Right in the middle of the field. Every single one of these plays that are open with one-on-one coverages, right to the middle of the field.
I would point out too, if this is the nickel or dime, the guy who's starting to chase Hawkinson across the field, if that's the nickel or dime corner, they may be more inclined to say, hell, they're going to throw the ball to DK. And maybe we have a route here where Darnell or Pat Freiermuth leaks out and they throw, even if Mason doesn't have the confidence to zip that up the middle, I mean, he waits a beat and the tight end could also be, I mean, that's 30 yards right there with Darnell and Pat.
Yeah.
If you go outside.
Yep. I think the key here offensively, get DK and Roman Wilson spread out away from the end line and have them really kind of start getting downfield and give them time to get out of their breaks before you're throwing the ball. We've seen this too often from Aaron Rodgers. He's not letting them get through progressions and get through their routes. So I just think right there, like, I mean, look at that. That is such an easy pitch and catch for a quarterback. The vision is right down the middle, right in front of you. You got a receiver snapping off his route perfectly. This one's a pretty perfectly placed ball too. That's there.
Like you throw a little behind him, but yeah,
it's close enough.
For JJ McCarthy, it's a great fight.
That's a perfect throw for JJ. It hit the wide receiver in the hands this time. So the others we saw hit the dirt. So I mean, this is improvement.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think that's the keys. I mean, you gotta look at what the Bears are missing 5 of their 11 starters on defense today.
Right.
So that's why it was hard for me to pick out, certain things to kind of look for, because I don't even know if they're going to completely use the same, defense that we just showed right there.
Mm-hmm.
How much man do they want to continue to run now that they're missing this many people? Are they going to sit in zones more because they're missing their guys? I think the key for us offensively, you got to get out and establish the run game first. That's got to be top priority. Get Jalen Warren going. This should be a monster Jalen Warren game. I don't know. I know Corb talked about the rumors that they might sit in dime. I'm sorry, but if they're sitting in dime, we should never even throw the ball. Just run it straight downhill all game long. Because if you got a bunch of DBs out there, and we have, what is it, like 1,700 pounds of beef in the offensive line in the jumbo package, get downhill. And that's the only way to go. And then make them start coming up, then you hit the play action.
Even though it's the Bears, do you really think they'd be crazy enough to come out against jumbo package and dime? I mean,
I can't see it.
And I would almost say there's a better chance they do something crazy because it's Ben Johnson and come out and goal line.
Yeah.
And say, okay, fuck it. You want to run jumbo? We're going to run goal line. And we dare you. We fucking dare you to try. But if you do that, and it's kind of conjecture that the Bears would, but if the Bears did something crazy and they put 5 guys on the line and went into like a 5-3 goal line set, you got DK Metcalf one-on-one.
No, absolutely.
And then at that point, Mason has shown from the George Pickens throws a couple years ago, you leave his number one-on-one, he is going to throw the ball down the field.
Yep. Absolutely. I'll be interested to see, because he will stand in the pocket too, and he will take hits. So he'll give the receivers time to get open. I'm a part of me really wanted Aaron Rodgers to play because he owns the Bears. And I think that he would have been very determined to make sure he continues that on through Pittsburgh. The other side of me was like kind of interested to see what happens with Mason. Are we going to see the same things that we've seen out of Aaron Rodgers? In that first or the second clip that we showed of DK running the out and up, how much of that is Mike Tomlin telling a Hall of Fame quarterback the same things he was telling Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields? Just take the safe route. Don't throw the ball if you think there's any chance there's a coverage. Now, I mean, that should have been a touchdown, but at the same time, like, how much of that's in his mind, because this is the messaging he's getting from the coaching staff over and over again. Like, I'll be interested to see what happens. I think Mason will stand in there and he'll put the ball downfield, and they trust him to throw the ball downfield.
Mm-hmm.
Should be interesting to see if it looks any different.
I know Dave is probably sitting there already with his umbrella and his black cloud. And Ben Johnson is a good offensive coach.
Yes.
But ultimately, a lot of this comes down to personnel. And yes, Ben Johnson is a great coach, but this isn't Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff, and the Lions offensive line. This is the Bears offensive line, which has been playing pretty okay, but they are middle of the road. And DeAndre Swift, who's a good back, but really the best part of his career is behind him, although he's still playing pretty well this year. So this is not that. There'll be some scheme things, but I think the Jalen Ramsey has been a revelation the last couple of weeks at safety. I think he is going to take away a lot of the little tricks Ben Johnson likes to do. Kind of like Aaron would have been on offense. I think Jalen's an eraser on defense at safety.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely changed his defense a lot on that back end. So, and I hope we see a lot more James Pierre in this one than we see of Darius Slay, because Roma Dunze is not who you want Darius Slay guarding in this game at all.
Yes, that could turn out not so great.
That could be bad.
Have we heard anything about whether Aaron is dressing?
I have not seen anything yet. The only thing I saw was Tomlin said he's out.
Yeah.
So whatever that may mean.
I don't think they'll even take the chance of having him have a uniform on, because I think the temptation, if they struggle, would
he's listed as inactive.
Okay.
So he is not dressing.
And the way Buffalo played against Houston and they played against the Dolphins, and they've thrown up some stinkers. I don't necessarily hate this. This is still a must-win, though. We have to beat the Bears. I felt 100% confident with Aaron Rodgers against the Bears, even with a broken wrist. I feel 90% confident with Mason.
Yeah, I mean, that defense is horrible. The only thing that is their saving grace is they lead the league in turnovers. They generate a lot of turnovers. I think they had 3 interceptions in that game. But again, it's JJ McCarthy. He was throwing a lot of it right to him. But their team has been very opportunistic throughout the season. So I think we need to pick and choose when we're taking our shots, which is why I would like to see the run game established early and often, to start drawing the safeties up toward the line of scrimmage. Get Jaquan Brisker up toward the line of scrimmage. Get him out of that safety look. A lot of teams have been running the 2-deep coverage against us to shadow DK Metcalf anywhere he goes. So running the ball effectively is going to bring them out of that, draw them back into the line of scrimmage, or at least the tackle box, or the box, and make it an 8-man box. That's where you can start to get guys like TK open, Roman Wilson open, Calvin Austin open. Utilize your tight ends to slip behind these aggressive linebackers when you're starting to run the ball really well. So I think the run game is going to be what we need to establish early in this game. Stop the run game for the Bears, and it's going to open up this for a potential big game for us, hopefully.
Yeah, and going to need big games from Benton, Black, and Harmon, because Cam Hayward wasn't a walking boot. He's expected to play. There's no issue with him being on the field. But that being said, if he is limping around a little bit this week, the 3 young guys, if they could really take the pressure off and stop. And by the way, I think all 3 of those guys, well, Benton, the least of the 3, although he's played a lot better, but I think the run defense drastically improves when Black and Harmon are in the game.
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I think this is definitely a winnable game. I mean, especially with them missing half of their defense.
This is going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be, this is going to be hard hitting. I don't think it'll be a particularly high scoring game. I think Boz will be a big part of the offense today, as he usually is in games like this. But I still feel good about my 20-9 prediction. I thought with the broken wrist, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't throw the ball very much. I don't think Mason's going to throw the ball very much, but I do think he'll be effective when they do. I'm coming out jumbo here, and I'm just plowing it down. And if they are dumb enough to come out and put 4 or 5 defensive linemen on the field to stop it, no problem. Go right to that little Darnell Washington, get right behind one of them and just take it off for 10, 15, 20 yards. At this point, I kind of don't want to see, and I'm a Jonnu Smith fan, I kind of don't want to see Jonnu Smith in this game. I don't think this is a Jonnu Smith game. This is a Darnell Washington. Okay, maybe Pat Freiermuth occasionally gets on the field. This is a Darnell Washington 5, 7, 10, 12-yard, dink and dunk type of game to me.
I think he needs to get at least 45 snaps in this one.
Yeah,
I know 40 is his number for us to get a victory, but this feels like with a depleted, linebacker core and missing a safety, like you better push that number up. And the more he's on the field, I think the harder it's going to be for Chicago to stop the run game. So I know we haven't really gotten it going a ton, but when Darnell's in the game, the run game moves.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so are you changing your prediction?
I don't think I am. I feel pretty good about this. That depleted defense, I still think Mason Rudolph, we've seen him be serviceable in the past. He's put points up in the past. I think I'm going to stick with where I was yesterday.
Sweet. All right. Unless somebody in the audience has questions, this has been great stuff. This is our second outing with it. I think we did a little better with the highlight package today. So yeah, we'll be doing this before Steeler games for the rest of the season. So yeah, join us, like, subscribe. We'll be here tomorrow night to break it down either way. But yeah, any last stuff, Trent? What kind of purse Williams carry? I heard Gucci.
Yes, I was just gonna say. We'll say it's a Gucci purse.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a big improvement if he doesn't show up for the game in a dress. I mean, that's
Right.
just me, but
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
all right. So enjoy the Steelers game, guys. Keep an eye on what Trent's pointed out here. Last week, a lot of what we pointed out ended up coming to fruition during the game. So yeah, if you want an early tip off, watch what Trent said, and then if it translates to the field, tune in next week at 11 to hear the last minute keys to the game. All right,
Bob.
Trent.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.